On the State Route 70 on your way to Quincy, a group of old rundown cabins sit once a budding resort turned low-income housing is now the site of an ever-unwinding mystery. There was a murder, and it's one of California's most famous cold cases. And we're coming up on the 40-year anniversary. Well, the 40-year anniversary actually already passed. It's in April. So let's hop right into it and get talking and studying. Not studying. Let's get talking about this case. Ooh. Okay, so this is a quadruple homicide with 4 people being killed, 3 members of the Sharp family and one of their friends. People involved in this case were Sue Sharp, John Sharp, Stella, Tina, Rick, and Greg Sharp as well. And then other prominent people were I can't fucking say this person's name. I'm so sorry. There's not like, okay. Diana Wingate, I think. James Seabolt Jr., Martin Smart, and John Bobadai. But we'll talk about them later. To set the scene, it was April 11th, 1981. Why is it always the 80s? Why? Because, like, the 40s and 50s, you got, like, oh, the war's just ended, there's a UFO flying saucer. Is it the military or is it aliens? And then, like, the 60s and 70s, you got, like, the cult stuff, where they're like, let's jump off this building to save the universe. And in the 80s, you got murders. But it's all unsolved murders. Like, these bitches never got found. I feel like it would be very easy to kill someone in the 80s. This sounds very wrong, but like, really, you just pull your hair back and just don't leave the knife there. And you're set. Why? Okay, I'm just saying. Like, they never, like, I need someone in the comments to name one murder that actually got solved in the 80s. Like, I'm being freaking, like, this is not a joke. It's not a bit. Like, I'm actually being serious. Like, name one murder that actually properly got solved, and they're like, oh, you know what? This guy probably did it. Like, one person. I'm waiting. Okay. Back on track with this. Quincy was like many small towns. Families wouldn't lock their doors because they felt safe because everyone knew everyone. But after the April 11th murders in Cabin 28, that all changed. Now, the Saturday evening of April 11th was a regular night. All 5 of the Sharp children were out playing with friends. John and Diana were looking for a party the next town over, but as the night dragged on, everyone slowly made their way back to their home before heading off to bed. Investigators said it was a completely normal night with people going to and from the local bar and nothing was out of the ordinary. But clearly something was, because people died. I'm just saying. Okay, so some witnesses, like some of the neighbors from the neighboring cabins, did say there were some things that seemed like a little off. Like there was a dog barking near Cabin 28 and cats were pacing in and out of one person's house when they usually slept, or when the porch light of Cabin 28 turned on at 4 a.m. Did they see the murderer come out of the house? Why would the porch... actually could have been a bug. They're in the forest. Okay, but nothing pointed to the gruesome murder that actually occurred that night. The morning of April 12th was a grim one, so to say. Sheila Sharp came home from where she was spending the night to change into some clothes that she could wear to church, but upon opening the front door, she found the bodies of 36-year-old Sue Sharp, her 15-year-old son John, and his 17-year-old friend Dana were found in the infamous Cabin 28, bound, beaten, and stabbed. She ran back to the house she was staying at, which were the Seabolts, screaming, where they called the police after hearing what happened. After they called the police and the police were on their way over, she made her way back to her, okay. Okay. After the police were alerted and, like, everything, she calmed down. She made her way back to her house with her friends, James Seabolt Jr., the person she was staying the night with, and miraculously, the 3 youngest children survived and were still asleep in their bedroom. How the fuck? You're telling me they didn't hear a thing? Like, please, please, please don't kill me. And they're like, well, guess it's the neighbors. What? Oh my god. Like, they're like, well, you know, that's my dog. Definitely not my mother, my sister. And, like, my other sister, you know. Okay. Anyways, the police came and made a number of mistakes that would eventually be corrected a number of years later. The one mistake they didn't make is that they found the body of Tina Sharp 80 fucking miles away in the next county over. They didn't notice she was gone. Like, I was reading this and they were like, oh, we just have to find Tina. Like, where's Tina? Oh, she's probably still out. They're like, wait a minute. Why isn't she back? What? Is she dead? And she was found 80 miles away. Ladies and gentlemen. What? This, okay, like, all jokes aside, like, this actually baffles me that they were like, she's, like, that just, like, I can't formulate my words right now. Like, that actually baffles me. Like, how the fuck did they not realize that she was gone? Huh? Okay. Anyways, the police eventually exhausted all of their leads and the case was deemed cold and the investigation stopped. So that's a very quick and speedy summary. I tried to touch on all the stuff that was important to context of this case so that if you're just starting to look in and research the Keddie cabin murders, this is like a good dip your toe in. Like, do I want to? Okay. So, like, that's, but there's two more people we have to talk about before I end the video. So out of this whole mess, the police got two main suspects. Even though nothing came out of it, I think it's still important to touch on these two people who have recently passed away. The two main suspects for this case were Martin Smart and John Bobadai. The reasoning behind this is that they lived next door to the Sharps in cabin 26, and they both had criminal records. And on top of that, Martin had reported a missing hammer that was found by the pond where cabin 28 once stood and was believed to be the murder weapon. Like, okay. So for community, there was probably, like, more, like, they may have had, like, a secret hatred towards the Sharps. But, like, I don't understand that, like, the fact that them having a criminal record and Martin losing a hammer would point to them being like, oh, these guys are the murderers. If that makes sense. Like, you know. Anyways. Okay, this wraps up the case summary. I just wanted to say, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. It means a lot to me. Please subscribe if you like these types of videos. I'm wanting to make a lot more because this is something that I'm really, really passionate about. And seeing people, even if it's just 4 people, I really don't care, watch in these videos, even if it's just like a click. Oh, okay. Like, it just makes me really happy and wants me to make more of these. All my actual opinions, because I don't want to drag this too long, are going to be in the description if you want to read that. And, yeah, of course, all my references, the websites that I used to research will again be linked in the description. Yeah, if you want to research more. On that note, I hope you have a lovely day. Peace and love, guys. Bye. Bye.